As I watched her get ready for the date, the most painful moment came when every makeup application, every twist of her hair seemed to be a betrayal of me. She wore unfamiliar dresses with heels I'd never seen before, and it confused me. Our marriage had always been a happy one. Amanda had always been attentive and caring, never letting me doubt her fidelity. 20 years together had built up a foundation of trust. One never thought she would betray me. When I confronted Amanda, her defense of Carl deepened my suspicions, and suddenly the tardiness and missed lunches became more serious, prompting me to investigate further. I vividly recall a social gathering where he disparaged my career, which consisted of selling screws and fasteners to large retail chains, and which, while not glamorous, allowed me to make a comfortable living, earning more than $200,000 a year, an income that provided a full life for my family, college tuition for our daughter, Janet, and sustained our daughter Janet's college tuition, and maintains our enjoyment of living in a close-knit community. Although I wasn't as high up as Carl and didn't have a seven-figure income, our happiness seemed assured, or at least I thought it was, yet my frustration mounted that night when he mocked my career in front of my wife and others. "Hey John, how's your nuts and bolts business? I bet you get screwed over a lot, huh?" "Oh baby, he's just kidding," Carl likes to joke. "Don't take it personally, come back with me, he's actually a nice guy." In retrospect, I realized that I may have ignored some of the warning signs. Despite my confidence in not being fooled by others, I didn't listen to my instincts. I understood Alder Carl's ability to help others. He was the epitome of the alpha male, strong, handsome, rich, and everyone loved Amanda as their trusted, confident right-hand woman. For a man like Carl, acquiring everything, including another man's wife, was just another conquest. Over the next week, I moved quickly to confirm that my suspicions were true. In addition to the video surveillance, the audio equipment added another layer of surveillance, one of which was cleverly hidden in a pendant next to the kitchen phone, and the other found an inconspicuous spot in her car. Despite my uneasiness about the upcoming week, when I would be out on a sales call, I went ahead with the plan, and sure enough, Amanda was loving and intimate with me, as she always was with me before my overnight business trips. On the eve of my departure, we spent a memorable evening together, and in such love and intimacy, our connection grew even deeper, and I had a twinge of doubt about her loyalty that almost prompted me to abandon my plans. During the 3-hour drive to the hotel, I found myself thinking back over the events of the past 6 months, searching for any subtle deviation, except for the unpleasant encounter with her boss. Those 2 scenes were deeply etched in my memory, his giggles and attempts at belittling me stuck in my mind. Other than that, nothing stood out on my face. After skimming through my work emails, I went into a state of relaxation and remotely accessed the server in the attic, eager to view the footage of the last 3 hours. It wasn't until my wife's silhouette appeared in the bedroom that I turned the speed back up to normal, and I was engrossed in watching my attractive wife on the phone. However, what caught me off guard was the fact that an hour after I had left, she had an unexpected phone conversation with Carl. "Hello dear, he's gone and I find myself alone again. Yes, it's 2 nights this time. When can you join me? But won't your spouse want to know where you're going? We've just spent an unforgettable evening together." She's repeatedly professed her love for me, but now, less than an hour later, she's inviting him to spend the night. Who is this woman, and how can she show such deep affection for me, only to betray me shortly thereafter? Witnessing her shower, put on her high heels, meticulously apply her makeup and comb her hair for a full half hour was a heartbreaking experience. Anger and jealousy raged in me when I realized that she was meticulously preparing herself for Carl and not her faithful husband. Carl's brazenness in breaking into my house and kissing Amanda unabashedly in front of the cameras was enough to cause my first nausea of the night. That anger quickly transformed into deep pain when I saw Amanda take his hand and lead him upstairs to her bedroom as I witnessed something she had never done to me before. Even though I knew my marriage was irretrievably broken and that I should pull away, I endured the next hour watching their interactions and listening to their conversations. "I'm so glad you stayed the night, baby. I've been longing to wake up next to you for a long time now, and I love being with you, Carl, and yes, I will relish taking you over and over again. You're the best man I know and I appreciate everything you've done for me. But we're both married men and we should cherish the time we have together." And I continued to listen and watch as they embraced and kissed and talked. "And you're cuckolded old. Does your old cuckold husband satisfy you the way I do? Amanda, he's a wonderful lover, but he's not like you, and I can't explain what you've done to me." I shut down my computer, unable to bear the thought of betrayal in my own home. I lay in bed, fighting anger despite not having closed my eyes for hours. I knew that a tortuous journey of pain and revenge lay ahead. When I returned home, everything seemed normal. There was an atmosphere of love and respect everywhere, as if nothing had ever happened. Nothing had happened. Amanda greeted me warmly. With tight hugs and lots of kisses, she acted as if nothing had happened in my absence. However, my love for her was now gone, and I was disgusted with her affection. Over the next 2 weeks, I made sure that Amanda was with me every moment of every day, giving her no opportunity for any secret meetings or clandestine dates, and her inquiries about my next trip fueled my suspicions. Confirming their ESS of my departure, my unfaithful wife casually asked me, "Honey, when's your next business trip?" I suppressed my anger and replied to her in a joking tone, "Are you trying to get rid of me? Don't be silly. I love having you at home. I just wish you would slow down on your business trips." "I'm sorry, honey, work still requires travel, and yes, I have an overnight trip scheduled for next Tuesday. I'll be back sometime on Wednesday." Her love for me makes my heart ache. Realizing that she's given that same love to another man stirs up the most primal anger within me, but I act as if nothing has happened, and as I prepare to leave, she gives me a tender kiss, and I can't help but wonder if she's noticed the sorrow in my eyes. And as I gaze at her for the last time, her expression changes, leaving me to wonder what she's thinking. Instead of embarking on the journey out of town, when Carl walked into my home for another deep kiss with my soon-to-be Toby's ex-wife, the camera activated. I activated the camera with my phone app and put my phone in my desk drawer to avoid being tracked by GPS during my potential trip. I stealthily left the office and retrieved my folding e-bike from my car truck, which has a silent motor that can reach speeds of up to 30 miles per hour and has a range of 50 miles. I listened carefully to the sounds coming from the bedroom and, convinced that they were already on the move and oblivious to my return, I retrieved the short-barreled shotgun and aluminum bat that I had left in the closet. I placed the shotgun against the wall outside the bedroom, gripped the bat tightly, and quietly turned the doorknob to enter the softly lit room, where they remained oblivious to my presence amidst the sounds of their raucous lovemaking. I grabbed the shotgun and turned on the light. Amanda jerked awake and stared at me in both surprise and fear as she cried out, "Oh God, no, please, this can't be happening. Why are you here? You should have left, you vampire." Maybe a better question is, why are you in bed with another man? I watched as he gradually regained consciousness. His eyes met mine with anger and disbelief. "Damn it, it hurts like hell. Why did you do this?" he groaned as he rubbed his injured head. "Are you kidding me? You slept in our bed with my wife. You think God wouldn't have reacted?" I retorted, my voice tinged with anger. "What are you going to do?" he asked, his nervousness overflowing as he stared at the gun I was aiming at him. "Are you worried, big man?" Every word I spit out was filled with contempt. "Everything you've fought for will come to nothing. I hope it was worth it, man. If you kill me, you'll spend the rest of your life in prison." I continued to play the part, escalating the tension. Amanda curled up into a ball, sobbing uncontrollably. "Baby, please don't do anything stupid. I love you. I really do. Put the gun down and let's talk about it." I turned the gun towards her and sneered, "Shut up, liar. It's all because you can't keep it in your pants, and no matter what happens tonight, your conscience is going to be on the line." The shotgun was loaded with a mixture of 25% salt and 75% capsaicin. Capsaicin is commonly used in pepper spray. My intention was not to end a man's life but to inflict extreme pain on this despicable man. After Big Carl regained his composure from the heavy blow to the head, he foolishly decided to lunge at me in an attempt to disarm me, which was just what I seized the opportunity to do. The explosion was loud and clear, but his screams drowned out all sound. A thick cloud of pepper enveloped him, making it impossible for him to see or breathe, so he could only gasp for air. I formulated a plan and kicked him hard to get his attention. "Listen up, you scumbag, and you, my unfaithful wife. I'm leaving right now. You two get this poor man to the emergency room before he bleeds out. You don't call 911 but take him to the hospital in your car, and you keep this a secret, and if either of you implicate me or mention me, you say that I had no knowledge of your adulterous affair." The video, audio recordings and photographs I've gathered will be shared with Asher's wife and your partners at the firm, and in addition, a link to a website containing more than 2 hours of incriminating footage will be distributed to everyone in your circle, and if you try to retaliate against me, or if she resists the divorce settlement, I'll call off any and all bleach, and at that point, the consequences will be so indiscriminate that I'll expose everyone, including myself, if need be. Now it's my turn, get him to the hospital before he bleeds out, and remember my terms." I threw the bat and the gun to separate places in the river before returning to my office. I threw away the surgical gloves I was wearing. When I got back to the office, I discreetly put my bike in my car and was back at my desk by 9 a.m., when I bid farewell to a few employees who were still working late into the night. From the looks of it, my car never left the parking lot, and I stayed at my desk the entire evening. According to his account, the last thing he remembers is going to his personal assistant's residence to take care of some paperwork before waking up in the hospital. Realizing the danger of his situation, he wisely chose to remain silent because he understood the influence I had over him and his career. Amanda was distraught and tight-lipped about the incident. Her only account was that she heard gunshots and found Carl lying wounded outside, so she rushed him to the hospital without waiting for an ambulance. I spent the afternoon dismantling the surveillance equipment, transferring all the data to encrypted cloud servers and disposing of the equipment. Any remnants of evidence linking me to their affair were now safely stored in the cloud out of anyone's reach. 0 p.m. Amanda walked into the living room to find me sitting there drinking a bottle of my finest scotch. I remained silent as she sat on my opposite on the couch with a dejected and desperate expression. Tears were streaming down her cheeks as she began to speak, her voice trembling with emotion. "John, the first know what you saw was devastating, but you have to believe me when I say that I wasn't in love with him. I know what it must have been like for me to say what I said. It must have been so hurtful. Even in those moments with him, it was you that was on my mind. I spoke to you. My every move was for you, baby. When you weren't there, the loneliness is unbearable. Carl has given me temporary solace. Please, you must believe me." Her explanation left me speechless. I couldn't understand the reasons she gave, and I couldn't shake the feeling that it belonged to Carl. "It's over, Amanda. 20 years of what I thought was happiness was tainted by your boss's betrayal and your infidelity," I retorted painfully. "So what now?" she asked me as the tears continued to flow down her cheeks. "Well, it's over for you and for me. I will never understand how you could betray me like this, or why this is a burden I have to bear indefinitely. I won't expose your infidelity, but you can't forgive me, Janet, and your parents will never know that there's a war going on between their mother and daughter. I'll make sure that everyone knows that you're a cheating adulterer. I'm going to sell the house. I'm going to sell the house, and you're going to have to find a place to live, and since you're the one who screwed up, you're going to have to move out." And in her tears, "She's trying to talk and he's not my boyfriend and I don't love him. Can't we just work this out? But I can't live without you. I'll do anything to keep us together. I never wanted to lose you. Please don't leave me. You know, Amanda, if it's just a matter of you sleeping with him, maybe we can seek counseling or break up at work. You're doing to him what you'd never do to me, and when you told him that you'd never do that for me, it took my breath away. Yeah, I heard you. That alone cuts off any chance of making up, cut off any possibility of reconciliation. But what really shattered my love for you was the way you shared that love with him, a love that belonged only to me. And what you said to him ruined us, ruined all their feelings for you, and you will be out of my life forever. And as for that scumbag, if he ever tries to stand up to me again, I'm going to make both of you sorry for what you've done." Even though she spent hours pleading with me to forgive her, she left the next morning and went to her parents' house to take refuge until the house was sold. Amanda and her family kept begging to reconcile with me, professing her love for me, pleading with me to forgive them, and offering counseling and various other remedies, but I ignored their calls and refused to accept their pleas. A 42-year-old single mother living in a modest one-bedroom apartment. Her daughter and family were estranged, believing that she was responsible for the breakdown of our marriage. Amanda found herself isolated from Carl, who had abandoned her at work by prioritizing saving his marriage. Unable to continue to work alongside her, he demoted her to administration with no increase in salary. Her respected position as a physician, where she had worked closely with one of the partners, was taken away from her, and rumors spread about her past relationship with Carl, leading to abuse from her colleagues. Amanda finds herself in a spiral of depression, with no friends to turn to, a failing marriage, and a family demanding that she take responsibility for the divorce, and she sinks deeper into despair every night, crying in solitude and longing for John with all her heart. Despite Janet's attempts to support her mother, Amanda's life trajectory continues to slide as her health deteriorates and she neglects her health, relying on alcohol to numb the pain and refusing to take care of herself. When Janet seeks advice from her father, he empathizes with Amanda's plight but is unable to overcome the betrayal and cuts off all contact with her. Meanwhile, Wendy pieces together the truth and exacts revenge on Carl, relegating him to a guest room and paying dearly for his infidelity. Carl's behavior irrevocably altered the course of his life, making it impossible for him to find love or solace with another woman. Later that year, while on a night out with coworkers, I was ambushed and savagely beaten outside a bar. I knew in my bones that this was a calculated retaliation by Carl, and I was not surprised. 6 weeks passed, and as I recuperated, I made up my mind to confront Carl face to face. I made a call to his office and asked to speak to Mr. Phillips. Mr. Phillips, his secretary, please. Meet me at the French Deli across the street this Friday at 1 p.m. I told her I was afraid I would not be making an appointment for Mr. Phillips, and she replied, "Just relay the message, write this down, 1 p.m. Friday, French Deli, go alone, John. Give him the note and he will understand the meaning of the note, thank you." I handed him a folded piece of paper and continued, "This is a link to a website set up just for you, Carl. Don't bother trying to shut it down, it's running in Syria with 3 redundant servers in various locations, you're in big trouble. I'm in control, here's the address of the site. Look at it when you get back to the office." I deliberately covered Amanda's face because she doesn't deserve to suffer for your transgressions, she's already endured enough. Once you've viewed this website, I want you to consider what your colleagues at work will think of your behavior, how your wife will react, and I intend to post these videos, along with your name, occupation, address and phone number, on several popular platforms. Carl's anger simmers beneath the surface. "You've ruined my life, and I'm never going to be the same person again, especially sexually, so stop this madness or I promise you'll regret it, and I promise you'll regret it." You see, Mr. Phillips, that's exactly why we're here today, and I refuse to let you walk away unscathed, and I'm willing to risk any consequences, because I fully intend to retaliate for the beatings I've suffered at the hands of your accomplices. Okay, just calm down, and what are your terms for making this go away? Carl interjected, and I made 2 non-negotiable demands, and I made them very firm, and the first one is that you must cease any acts of retaliation against me, or anyone in my circle, including Amanda. 1. You must cease any retaliation against me or anyone in my circle, including Amanda, and 2. You must deposit $1 million into this account by the end of the day on Friday. I will act decisively, and I know how much you're worth, and I know what I can get through legal means, so consider my request for this small amount of money a gesture of goodwill, and how can I be sure that you won't ruin it for me? No matter how much Carl asks, you won't. I'm a man of my word. You have to believe me. Do you know how I found out about your affair with my wife? I paused for a moment, letting the question linger in the air. No, I'm curious. Carl admitted it was at your last company dinner when I saw that smug grin on your face after you danced with my wife. That arrogant grin of yours set off alarm bells, prompting me to dig deeper into your affair and ultimately your fate. I expect you to live the rest of your life with the consequences of what you did to my once happy marriage. Postscript: after the transfer of funds, we sold a house and divided the property among Amanda, who would have a stable enough financial source to live comfortably as long as she continued to work or find another love interest. The loss of her marriage and the love of the man she envisioned spending her life with left her isolated and despondent. She passed away before her 50th birthday, a broken and melancholy soul, with only her daughter Janet attending the sad ceremony of scattering the ashes. Though we spoke daily and maintained a deep bond, Janet rarely broached the subject of her mother, knowing the enduring pain I endured as a layperson. Armand's death brought me a sense of closure, but it was also a powerful reminder of my deepest hurts. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed it, and if you haven't already, please share your thoughts on these events in the comments below.